Hey there, this is Ann Teagarden with episode 94 of the Unveiled podcast. Thanks for joining me today. So, last episode, I was talking about being burdened and weighed down and what we're bringing into 2024. And I talked a lot about letting go of resentment and all those things that we carry inside of us, hurts from the past, resentments from the past. We want to start with a clean slate. So I hope that you did some of those emotional healing activities that I suggested. If not, do go back and listen to episode 93 because I feel like those are some of the most important things that weigh us down. But even if we take care of the emotional stuff, sometimes we still feel a bit overwhelmed. And I get that because we have so much to do. Lots of people are counting on us, our husband, children, work, church, etc. So, how do we feel less overwhelmed? Well, there's the obvious things. We can delegate to others. We can get our kids or husband to help us. We can hire help. So, hopefully, you've thought through those. We can do the slightly less obvious things. We can ask ourselves some good questions like, do I really need to be doing this? Or do I just think I need to be doing this? I know a woman who scolded me once for not mopping my kitchen floor every night because she does. Well, you know what? I don't care what she does. That's not what I'm going to do. I don't have any toddlers crawling around and I'm not eating off my floor. So I'm not going to mop my kitchen floor every single night. If other people want to, great. But I'm not going to accept her guilt or condemnation to make me do that. I don't have to live up to other people's standards or even my own impossible standards. Okay, so hopefully you've thought through those, if not do. But once we've done those, we may still be feeling overwhelmed. I'm right there with you. I can't change my circumstances always, but I can change my mindset about my circumstances, and that makes all the difference. Okay, I don't particularly love to cook. I do cook pretty much most nights, but it's a lot of work to make meals every day. And then there's all the dishes to wash. Now, I have a husband who's very easygoing. He doesn't require that I cook him gourmet meals every night or anything else. But if I didn't cook food for him, he would end up eating cereal or frozen food every night because he wants what's easy. But I have a value in feeding my family mostly healthy, fresh food. So, yeah, we do have cereal on occasion, and there's no shame in that. I'm not a robot. I'm tired sometimes. But the reason that I go to the trouble of menu planning and grocery shopping and cooking and all the cleanup is because I want the best for my own body and my family's bodies. So, even though it's a significant time commitment, I can do it without resentment because I see a grander purpose in it. Aha, resentment. There's that word again. Sometimes I can stand there cooking and resenting how much time it's taking and no one appreciates it. My young adult children would much rather go out for fast food than have to help with dishes. In fact, my son doesn't even eat most of what I cook. Okay, cue the violins and the self-pity, right? But no, none of that is healthy for my heart. So a much better choice is for me to remind myself that my husband is healthier than he would be if left to his own devices. So I'm cooking to bless my family and myself. So even when I don't feel like cooking, I remind myself of why I'm doing it. And if it gets boring, I go look for new recipes. When I'm busier, I look for easier meals. But I choose to not resent the cooking every day. Another example, the other day, my daughter went off to college, leaving a bunch of sand in the bathtub. Okay, don't ask, it's a long story. And at first, I wasn't too thrilled that I had to clean up her mess, but I realized it needed to be done. And I knew she had been in a hurry to pack and get off to school, and it's just what it is. So I chose to let go of my irritation and tackle it cheerfully. Many years ago, we read the Little House on the Prairie series, and Pa Ingalls had a great saying that became part of our parenting and our family's vocabulary. What must be done is best done cheerfully. Now, those are words to live by. Why should we fight doing something that has to be done, right? Dogs vomit and we have to clean it up. Muddy, stinky clothes have to be washed. So the best thing is to try to find the humor in it. Maybe put on some good music and do that while you're working. Make it fun if you can at all. But the most important thing is to change our mindset about why we are doing it. Trust me, this makes a huge difference. And it saves you from putting more resentment weights into that backpack. Imagine if I were to resent cooking 1 to 3 times a day. I would be getting mad about it and adding more weight. So choose joy and watch the overwhelm lift a bit and get a little bit lighter. We don't have to resent the things that we have to do. Okay, that will help, but it won't solve all of the problems. But there's more. Jesus doesn't want us to be overwhelmed. Matthew 11:28, one of my favorite verses, says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And he means it. He really does. God ordained a Sabbath rest. We often think we don't have time. I don't have time to rest. But taking time to rest at least once a week will really recharge and refresh you and make you more productive on the other days. I promise, try it. Now, that's a whole other lesson on the Sabbath that I'm not going to get into. But there are other kinds of rest he offers, not just sitting back with our feet up and relaxing. He offers us internal rest. So we can start our work from a place of rest inside. Graham Cook loves to teach this, and I've been trying to practice it. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I have this very peaceful, wonderful time with Jesus, and then I switch to do things for the day, and suddenly I'm stressed about all I have to do, and there doesn't seem to be enough time. And then this attitude causes me to resent any interruptions that come my way because I'm focused on accomplishing my tasks. And I don't think it makes me very fun to be around. Sometimes it actually locks up my brain to where I can't think straight. Have you ever been that overwhelmed that you can't think? All I really have to do is what's next. I don't have to listen to my brain trying to stress me out. So I tell my brain to shut up. I take a deep breath and I purposely go to a place of rest in my heart. Okay, come to me, Jesus says, because he is the perfect peace, and we can catch his peace when we're drawing near to him. But it's not just his peace that he offers. Matthew 11 goes on to say in verse 29, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Jesus is with us. He's right there beside us, helping us pull the weight. The reason we feel overwhelmed is because we feel alone, like we're having to carry this burden all by ourselves. But when we yoke to Jesus and allow him to do the heavy lifting, the burden is lightened. Holy Spirit can give us great ideas for how to do something better, easier, faster. Holy Spirit can tell us what we don't need to do today. He did that to me the other day. He said, "Hey, just put that off for a couple weeks. It can wait." And it lifted a huge burden. Holy Spirit can also yield the fruit of the Spirit through us: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Have you ever had a day where you really needed one of those? We don't have to manufacture it. We simply let it flow out from the Holy Spirit. We tap into it. The Holy Spirit is living in you if you have surrendered your life to Jesus. So tap into that and allow that fruit to flow out of us even when we're not feeling it. And lastly, another mindset that weighs a lot of us down is trying to control what others do or circumstances that are beyond our control. If our mindset is that we have to make sure everyone does everything right so that bad things don't happen, well, then we become controlling, and quite frankly, it's exhausting. Once God told me to stop trying to run the universe. Yikes. But he said it so kindly. I've tried to control the weather before. Yeah, really, Aunt? Yeah. We had a big picnic planned and all the food was bought. And yeah, really, that's not my department. No matter what happens in life, God is with us, God is for us, and God will bring good out of it. So remember that. Trying to control things that we can't control brings more burden on us than we really need to be bearing. And it fosters resentment when people don't do what we want them to do. It makes us less flexible. I know all this because I used to be very controlling. But don't feel bad if this describes you. There's no shame. Just be free of trying to control things that you can't actually control. See it as a newfound freedom. Ha! Yay! Let it all go. When you're tempted to control something, I'm still tempted, refuse. It is a hard habit to break, but the sooner you start, the sooner you're free. I also have an episode on fear, shame, control triad and how they work together, and that may be helpful if you're struggling with control. That's episode 78. Remember, our goal is less overwhelm and hopefully no overwhelm. Okay, so reviewing this week, evaluate, are there things you really don't need to be doing that you can delegate to others? Ask Jesus and he'll show you. Get rid of some of that weight. Work on changing your mindset about tasks that you don't like. Find a greater purpose in it and remind yourself you're serving out of love. And of course, make it fun and enjoyable if you can, but don't resent it. Take out that weight of resentment. Take a Sabbath rest for at least a few hours, and you really will have to schedule that in on your calendar. And when you're stressed, start from a place of rest. Remember, Jesus is beside you, and he is pulling off that weight. Ask the Holy Spirit for help, and stop trying to control things that you really can't control. Let go of all that weight. In reality, we can only control our own choices and attitudes. So focus on those. And remember the words of Pa Ingalls, what must be done is best done cheerfully. You've got this. Go enjoy and peace.